Hey guys, what's going on? This is Andrew here today, and I figured I would jump into this and just not even do any sort of editing, just give my absolute thoughts and feelings about this whole thing. This is a very, very hard video for me to make, just considering everything that has been going on. Just absolutely upsetting that I have to sit down and make this video due to how passionate I was about all of this stuff before stuff went down and made me not feel like it was necessary anymore. So I'm going to start off by saying I dropped it at Full Sail. If you saw the title, that is the reason you probably clicked on it. I just want to say it had nothing to do with Full Sail. I was very satisfied with the staff that was there. I was very satisfied with the people that helped me in the labs, the professors. Everybody seemed like they were there to try and help you to the fullest extent, with the exception of some of the courses for like math and I guess physics I was trying to do. Other than that, I had a really good time in my core classes, and all my professors were super friendly, super cool, to the point where I would even talk to them outside of class because I just found them super interesting. So this is nothing against the program that I was in. I wish everybody the best that was in the programs with me, and I wish the professors that are helping people with this video game development program are also having the best experience they can and really leading these people to a good place because like I said, I was really satisfied with Full Sail. Now, what happened exactly? Why did I drop out? What is going on here? What is this video really on? Well, basically, the reason that I dropped out was I just simply don't have motivation to be in this game industry anymore. And there are a million factors behind it. It is so upsetting because my entire life basically built up to this point where I was going to be a game dev. If you look into any of my journals from when I was learning how to write sentences and paragraphs and everything from when I was in kindergarten and first grade, you will literally see in certain things where there was a question that asked, what do you want to do when you grow up? And consistently from first grade all the way to now, I was writing, I want to make video games. So that's just goes to show how upsetting this is making me, that I really don't want to be a part of this industry anymore. Actually, to the point where it made me majorly depressed, to the point where I was even hospitalized. My depression got really bad. I lost my will for everything. This was like my entire life that I was really trying to build up to and create a happy career. And I'm not saying that, I'm not going to move past this and I'm not going to be happy again. I'm currently really happy right now with the way everything is going. I'm engaged. I'm going into a new industry that I'm passionate about, that I worked with my dad for years. And unfortunately, yeah, it just seeing all this break down really broke me down as well. It made me lose my motivation, my will for everything, and especially just my motivation to go for this degree and ever get into this industry ever again. The one thing I regret about not going into this industry and learning how to do all this game programming is the fact that I'll never really probably be able to do the ports and side projects that I've always wanted to do. My biggest dream was to get all the games that were on I think it's sixth generation of consoles. The GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 is the sixth gen. Sixth gen. My plan for those was to get all of the Sega games that got released on those platforms ported over to the Dreamcast. That was my biggest thing. My second biggest thing was working with a team of people to make a fan Guitar Hero game or a fan Clone Hero or a fan Rockman game. Their Yarg already exists. Clone Hero already exists. I wanted to join at least one of those teams. Now you even have Red Octane Games coming out and making a 5-fret game, the original people that were behind the Guitar Hero games, and that is super cool. And you even have a lot of these devs that worked on Yarg and some of the community members that are on that team. So that was like, if this was something that I was pursuing, that would be something I would 100% have wanted to do. But the whole thing is, with the cost of the degree at this program, it would have cost me about $90,000 to finish this degree just to do side projects and not be passionate about the field anymore. It just felt like something I couldn't do. I already got my IT degree with the logic of, hey, I only have about 2 semesters left. I might as well finish it and then use my IT experience to go into the computer science field. So unfortunately, yeah, that's the thing. So I lost my motivation to go into the game industry, and well, I guess I kind of didn't explain why yet. I kind of just said what it my whole thought process behind it and why I was so upset about it. The reason is I just don't like the way this industry is going. I was very, very optimistic when the Series X and PS5 came out. This absolutely like boosted me wanting to do this. I wasn't even considering it at the point in time when Series X and PS5 came out. I gave up on the game development thing because I thought I wasn't smart enough because I wasn't good at math at the time. So I was just settling with the IT degree to do something in the computer field. But the Series X and PS5, when they came out and my retro game craze came about again and I really got back into the games, I was absolutely 100% optimistic and super happy with the tech that we got out of these new consoles. I was like, oh wow, Zen 2, really powerful consoles off the bat rather than the Xbox One and PS4 that had these shitty Jaguar cores from when AMD did the FX chips and they were absolute garbage. So I was super excited for this generation. I thought we finally had the power to make some amazing, amazing games. And the truth is, the past 5 years have been a shit show to me. I'm not saying there haven't been good games. I'm not saying there haven't been. There have been plenty of good games. One of my favorite games of all time was Spider-Man Miles Morales and, what's the other one? Astrobot. I thought that was an incredible game. There have been plenty of amazing titles that have come out this generation. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate, stuff like that. But the fact is, the thing I was talking about with how we have some super powerful consoles, I thought this meant that we were going to have a major evolution in how games were going to be played. In my opinion, the difference between the Xbox 360 and Xbox One was bigger than the Xbox One to the Series X in terms of what we got in evolution. And that's not saying much, because I really don't feel like from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, and obviously PS3 to PS4, that we've really seen any difference. The games still basically control the same. Sure, the textures and environments have improved, and maybe just a little bit of the controls and physics in a way, but other than that, we've basically been getting the same style of gameplay since like 2005 at this point. If you look back to like the 80s and the 90s when you went from 8-bit to 16-bit, how beautiful things changed in the way games played. And then especially when you went from 16-bit to 32 and 64-bit, when you went from very, very minimal games that were basically slideshows in 3D and a main 2D console to literally playing full-blown 3D games with full camera access. And then from that to the improvements of the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 with them looking much better, not so pixelated, not so weird-looking polygons. And then to the 360 and PS3 where all this stuff seemed really good and HD and controlled beautifully and just felt like we were at this peak where 3D was absolutely amazing. I haven't felt that in a very long time. I haven't felt that kind of excitement since the Xbox 360 era of these games, since I got my own Xbox 360, because I was playing on the OG Xbox and Super Nintendo that my parents had and all that stuff until I got my Xbox One and my Xbox 360 in 2013. I got it the same year the Xbox One came out. My parents had a 360, but I got my own because just how much I wanted to explore COD Ghost, Black Ops 2, the Modern Warfare series, GTA 5, just all the Guitar Hero games, just something that was super, super interesting to me. And when the Xbox One and PS4 came out, I was still really into gaming because I just felt like, you know what, this was still new to me, by the way, guys. This was still new to me. Xbox 360 and PS3 and Xbox One, that when I got those consoles, were not very far apart from each other when I got them. Like I said, 2013 is when I got my first console. 2014 was when I first built my PC. So when the Xbox One and PS4 came out, this was all very, very, very new to me. So I was very interested in this generation, and I loved seeing the evolution that there was. Uncharted 4 was great. Every single first-party title from Sony just absolutely blew me away with story, visuals, just everything. Everything was truly amazing about playing these games on that generation. And like I said before, the jump between the Xbox One and PS4 to the Series X was supposed to be vast in terms of how the hardware was. But from what I've been seeing, it's really not at all. These games still look basically the same. Sure, you can say frame rates are higher. You can say visual fidelity has gone up a little bit. Physics has gotten a little bit better. But if I want that shit, I would have just played it on my PC. I have an RTX 3080 in this thing. Even on my old PC, the GTX 1070, guys, the GTX 1070 came out either 2015 or 2016, is still running games at 1080p at 60 FPS. which a lot of people haven't even upgraded from to get to 4K. There's still plenty of people playing in 1080p, and a graphics card from 4 or 5 years ago, preceding the Series X and PS5, is still able to run these games because it is barely less powerful. I'll even go as far to say my GTX 970 from 2014 can still run these games. Everything. There's not a single game it hasn't been able to run yet. Not run, I should say. It still runs them all. Granted, the resolution has to go down. Granted, the frame rate isn't perfect. Every single one of these games that has come out this generation 5 years in is still playable. It's absolutely insane. There's no evolution this generation. And that's only like the tip of the iceberg. Like I'm bad at using phrases, so maybe that was the wrong way to use it. But that's only a little part of it to me. In terms of why I'm really pissed about this industry as well. So the no evolution part is obviously a huge thing. I, as a retro gamer, as someone who plays basically all platforms and from every generation, I always say gameplay over visuals. That's how I've always been. But visuals are nice, don't get me wrong. They're really beautiful. But gameplay over visuals and smoothness over visuals. I'd rather play a game at 480p at 60 FPS most of the time than 1080p at 30. That's just how I've always been. I'd rather play a really good story game with a really good campaign and good controls. And granted, the resolution's a little lower, from PS2 and original Xbox, and play something that has no character where the game looks so good it's almost as if you're walking outside and seeing that level of fidelity the same way. It's not the same. It's so obviously I'm not saying the fidelity and the graphics are really the biggest problem for me. It's a major annoyance to me because I thought we were going to get much more, but these past 5 years have just been my absolute biggest disappointment in gaming to this up to date. I grew up playing games, and this is easily the worst era, in my opinion, of video games. Worse than the crash, in my opinion, of the 80s in America for the game console crash. I seriously think the quality we're getting here is for what we have is worse than what we were getting back then. It's just an absolute disappointment to me. But anyway, all right, I keep sidetracking. I said I wasn't going to do this video unscripted. I am an absolute talker, so shit happens. I go off topic a little bit, but yeah. Another thing I'm getting really upset about here is, despite the fact that these consoles are 5 years old, right? Despite the fact that these games are not being made any different, and the fact there's no evolution, is the fact that prices are increasing significantly on basically everything. Not just the games, not just the hardware, but the services too. There used to be a point in time where it was free to play games online on PlayStation. PlayStation Plus came around to go with Xbox Live and eventually turned into $60 a year with free games every single month, which I thought, okay, you know what? That's fair. Xbox does it. Nintendo even does it now as well at a much cheaper cost. But Sony, they're just as capable as Xbox at having an online service. So sure, charge for it, give these benefits if that really is what you want. Obviously on PC you can still play for free whenever the hell you want. But I said, okay, I'm not too angry about that. Then Xbox Live went away. Xbox Live is gone now. It is just Game Pass altogether. Game Pass Core. Game Pass Core, which is base Xbox Live, is now $10 a month, which I think is what it was before anyway. But $10 a month. Now you got the next tier up, which is $15 a month, which is what Ultimate used to be, guys. What Ultimate Game Pass used to be, where you can play across console, NPC, Xbox Live, all these games in a library. Game Pass Ultimate now is $30. $30 a month. That's a lot of money in the year. I don't know the exact conversion in my head because I am a shit math student even to this day. So I'm not even going to try. But that's a lot more money than $15 a month like it used to be. It is double. It is actually double. The thing that got me into playing Game Pass, even though I'm a physical collector, is I love the idea of having this library of games to try and then support the developers when I was done with them if I felt like I was going to put a lot of time into it. I'm a physical collector. Even if I had something on Game Pass, I would still get a physical copy of it. I have Halo Infinite. I have Forza Horizon. I have Gears of War Reloaded. I have all of those games just because I'm a physical collector and I love that stuff. But Game Pass was a way to get me into these games. It got me into a lot of different franchises I never got into before, like Crackdown, those franchises, some of the Gears of War games that I hadn't played as a kid, just so many different things that this this service got me into, and I was okay with it because I was like, for 4 months of Game Pass, I'm basically essentially paying for a new game every 4 months, which is what I was doing anyway. By the way, maybe even more. I was paying like maybe $100 every 2 months to play games, and basically every 4 months it was as if with Game Pass it was just getting an extra game on top of that every 4 months. So I felt, you know what, that's worth it. Even times where I feel like I'm not playing a lot, I still feel like recurring my membership, because there could be very well a time where I can just sit down. It's like having Netflix or having HBO or anything like that, any kind of streaming service. You can just sit down and play these games and just have a good time, have a good streaming service, like anything else. I recur my Netflix membership over time. Sometimes I cancel it if I don't feel like it due to some financial things that's going on now. But I just used to be like, yeah, I'll just keep these memberships recurring. Now that's $30 a month, guys. That is cutting it in half from 4 months for a full game to 2 months for a full game. And I feel like, to me, that's not worth it. To me, it's just something I really don't feel like I can afford. Maybe until I get a better job and do more things, sure. But I just feel like it's something that's just not sustainable and not affordable for me. It's no more worth it at this point than me going out and just buying the full game anyway. If I'm going to pay $60 for 2 months, when these days I'm really picky about what games I buy due to some finances, I don't usually buy more than one game a month or two. So what's the difference between me getting Game Pass now, if I'm not going to play the damn thing anyway, and getting a physical game, brand new, $60, $70 every so often, every month or 2 months? It's ridiculous. And Xbox isn't the only culprit here, guys. We also got Sony, who increased their standard tier to $80 a year. Their standard PlayStation Plus tier to $80 a year. It used to be free, and then $60, and now $80. And then you got the price increases for everything. I stupidly bought the premium tier at a ridiculously high price point, which is what the height of it is right now. Now, I will tell you, I sold my PS5 Pro. I hate to say it, I needed to pick between my Xbox and my PlayStation, and I sold my PS5 Pro. I felt like I could get more money out of it, plus I play a lot more games on Game Pass, which is what I had before. That was my intention, plus backwards compatibility as a retro gamer, just stuff like that. Much bigger library than when I was playing on my 5. I already been there, done that for the 4 games, so I didn't feel like anymore I really needed to own a 5, so I got rid of the 5 due to financial things, and of course I regret it still, because I did love playing on my 5, but my whole thing was, well, I'll sell it now, get the money I need, and then when I get into a better place, I will go and buy the 5 again. The 5 went up in price, from $500 to $550. The Pro went up in price from $700 to $750. You go anywhere on the used marketplace right now, Facebook, anywhere, GameStop themselves, these prices are freaking high. Like, even for used stuff. A lot of times I'll go on Facebook Marketplace and just get a cheap console or get something at a major discount, because I don't care if it was owned by someone else at this point. I'm a game collector, a retro collector on top of that. I get people's used shit all the time, so I don't really care about that. But going on these places, it has now influenced these prices to go super high, and people are absolutely getting a good amount of money for this kind of stuff. I can't go and get a $500 PS5 anymore. I mean a $350 to $350 PS5 anymore. I'm basically spending a used price that was made for these consoles 5 years ago at launch for a new console. It's upsetting, and obviously PlayStation is not the only culprit of this. Microsoft has done it. Nintendo has done it as well. Nintendo raised the original price of the Switch from $300 to I think it was $330 for the base model. Everything basically went up 10, 20, $30. Which, the Switch 1, guys, a console that is so woefully underpowered, so woefully outdated to the point where my phone from 2018, maybe it was 2019, my Razer Phone 2 is more powerful than that damn thing, and I spent less money on it than you could on a Switch. It's really upsetting. An old ass chip from 2018 that runs more than the Switch that runs better than the Switch is cheaper than the console right now. It's insane. Plus, there's the Switch 2 out. The Switch is barely being manufactured anymore, and they still raise the price of it. So there's that. Sony, as I just mentioned. Microsoft. This is where it gets crazy. Microsoft raised the Series X from $500 No middle ground to 550 like Sony, all the way up to 600. And guess what? They weren't done. They were not done. They also just recently announced that they're going to be raising the price of the Series X from, this is base model Series X, by the way, from 600 to 650. Now only being $100 less than the PS5 Pro, the much more powerful console, much more capable console, more storage, and a bigger game library. Now, you may think that is crazy, but wait and hear this last part if you haven't heard it already. There's a 2TB Series X as well. 2TB Series X that came out about last year. It was like all sparkly and whatever. They tried to make it look pretty cool. That is now $800, which means the inferior console manufactured in the USA is $50 more than the more powerful PS4, PS5 Pro. That is absolutely unreal to me. These companies are making major excuses. Now, I'm not going to be the one that says, oh, everything is great, the economy is great, these tariffs, they don't mean anything. No, I understand that tariffs have an issue right now, that things are going up in cost, that some of these tariffs are causing things in the tech industry to go up. But can you, someone tell me, anybody that is techie, someone that deals with this industry, can you tell me for a fact that a Zen 2 processor from 2020, Zen 3 was already out at this point for PCs, Zen 2 is what we were using. Can you tell me that an outdated Zen 2 processor in 2020, can you confirm this with me, costs more in 2025 when we have Zen 6 that is coming out with these CPUs that are literally still semi-affordable? Zen 6 is on the way. Zen 6 is literally being talked about, leaked, rumored. That is 4 generations above Zen 2. 4! I know I'm getting angry, I'm getting passionate about this, but geez, can you really tell me that it is more to manufacture a Series X and a PS5 than it was 5 years ago with outdated tech? Can you? I call BS. I really don't think that's true. I think everybody is taking advantage of these tariffs and basically just saying, oh, well, it's because of the tariffs, so let's raise the prices. You know how things always were. You take a loss on the hardware and take a win on the software. It's how it's always been. So even if it is, even by some little statistic that it is slightly more to manufacture these consoles, they have always been made to be sold at a loss. And more people are buying these things because they are now 5 years in and the PS4 and Xbox One are just barely supported. The sports games already went away from them. You just got COD really coming to this console and maybe a few like Sega low-level graphics games or fighting games, like low-level fighting games that are still coming to Xbox One and PS4 and to some extent the Switch as well. But man, this is just... these prices, I really feel like they're making an excuse here. I'm throwing that claim out there. If I'm wrong, sure, why not? But my one argument that will basically overshadow anybody saying any of this stuff is that they were meant to take a loss on these consoles. It's always been a thing. And Microsoft especially, this is why I don't get why their prices are bigger than Sony's. Plus, they're manufactured in the US. It's not like with Sony and the import fees and anything like that, or Nintendo with the imports. You got Microsoft that's manufactured in the USA. Microsoft is an American company. This is where consoles are being manufactured, made, and sold. And they're still the most expensive and still not the most powerful even then. Plus, this is my biggest argument for it too. They don't care that much about hardware. They haven't shipped out nearly as much hardware. They made a campaign that said, this is an Xbox. And basically showed phones, they showed tablets, they showed other platforms. All their exclusives are coming basically everywhere. Gears of War Reloaded just came to PS5. They are more of a software company now than ever. So why are they increasing the price of their consoles if they literally don't care about them? They just came out with a partnership with ROG. They're doing the ROG Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X. The Xbox Ally X with the Z2 Extreme is $1,000. And if you look at the benchmarks between the Z1 and Z2, not a vast difference at all. And we're going between a $700, $800 handheld chip to $300, $400 more. Actually insane. Just a lot of stuff is going on. And you know what? I'm not even going to stop there. I'm not going to stop there. There's still plenty. There's still plenty I can complain about here, guys. There's still more. I'm going to end it off with this last point, though. This is the last thing I'm doing. I have said before in the beginning of the video there hadn't been a lot of evolution between last generation and this generation. even the Xbox 360 and PS3 to an extent. I am here to argue that I feel like we have gone even further backwards. I truly believe we got more content, more impressive gameplay, and just overall a better experience last generation and the generation previously than what we have now. Look at how these games are launching. They're launching half-baked. Sure, we had some of that last generation too with patches, but to the point where they aren't even the same game at this point, where they're just so buggy to where you can't play them at launch, and they'll say, don't worry about it, we'll fix it. We'll fix it in a future update. It's like, why even release it if you're going to release it with all this? And then be like, oh yeah, we'll add DLC to add more content when your content is plain. This is what actually blew me away. This is, a lot of developers are very, this is very much going on with a lot of different devs, so I can't really say that it's like a one-person thing. I'm going to point out a one person just because this one stood out to me the most. Pokemon Legends ZA hasn't even launched yet. It is not in our hands as of the making of this video. It comes out October 16th. A few days ago, or maybe like a week or two ago now, with the Nintendo Direct, with the Metroid stuff, they already announced a $30 DLC, which in my opinion makes me think, yo, if this is a thing that you already know is coming out and you just announced, why the hell didn't you pack this in with the original game? You're still charging us $70 for this stuff. You're still charging us $70 for these games. More than you charge for the last Pokemon game. Why not just have it included in that? Maybe push the release date back a little further. Legends Arceus didn't come out during the holidays. It came out later and is considered one of the best Pokemon games of all time. It just doesn't make sense to me. The quality that we are getting now is not near the quality we were getting before. Look at Mind's Eye. It looked like it was going to be pretty cool. It ran into issues. Look at Cyberpunk. It launched as an absolute mess, whether it was on Xbox One, PS4, Next Gen, or PC. Obviously, it's been fixed, and CD Projekt Red is fine now, but just look at how we're getting these things, guys. They've seemed to seemingly lower their standards and just not care anymore, yet costs are still going up for everything. So what we're getting, price to performance, I really could have just summed up this whole video by that. What we are getting, price to what we're actually getting as a final product, just isn't worth it to me anymore. I am done with modern gaming. I sold my PS5. I initially was going to go and buy it again, but I don't see a reason to anymore when exclusives are already coming to PC as well after like a year or two. And I'm going to keep my Xbox, my Series X, because I at least want one next-gen console that runs my backwards-compatible games. The only reason I'm keeping it is because it runs a lot of my backwards-compatible titles really, really nicely in comparison to the original hardware, like GTA 4, for example. And I have my Switch 2 as well. I will say, this is absolutely crazy to me. If you would have told me 10 years ago that the lesser of all evils to me, who has still got plenty of stuff, I'm not going to get into it, you know how bad Nintendo has gotten, that I feel like the lesser of all evils is Nintendo compared to Sony or Microsoft, I would call you insane. Seriously, I would call you absolutely insane. At least they're releasing quality titles. Their exclusive games have been absolutely amazing. Even though Scarlet and Violet didn't run very well on the Switch 1, it still was a fantastic game. You're getting Legends ZA on the Switch 2. You got Donkey Kong that was very well made. You can say whatever you want about Mario Kart. I thought they made it very well with the concept that they were working with. There's plenty of amazing games that Nintendo has come out with, and they are pretty much the only reason that I can consider myself in the current generation, because their games are just phenomenal. A lot of their first-party stuff is phenomenal. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are coming out soon. I'm super excited to play those. It's just, they're the only things that are really keeping me a modern-gen gamer, but other than that, I'm done. I don't want to be a game dev anymore. It's never going to happen. If I do any side project, it's going to be learning myself, but I'm done with the modern gaming industry. I'm sorry. I really wanted to be here for it. Not that really my presence matters too much, but personally, I really wanted to be here for it. I wanted to be in the industry, growing with the industry, watching it evolve. And this may sound morbid, this may sound sad. I am almost wishing for a gaming crash. I want another crash to happen to show these people what they deserve. I feel like every single one of these companies deserves to lose its fan base right now. I feel like we're just, obviously with some exceptions, there's a lot of really good indie devs. Look at Silksong. They released that game for $20, and it is absolutely phenomenal. There are literally people saying that they want to pay more to support these devs because of how much effort they put into this. So obviously there's exceptions, but I really feel like a game crash needs to happen. I hate to say that, and it may sound, people are going to disagree with me on that, I really just feel like there's nothing here anymore that's interesting, and we're just getting our wallets just emptied for nothing, for basically nothing. It's really upsetting, guys. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. I know I talked for quite a while, and I can go on even further. There's plenty of things to still talk about, but I think I'm just going solely back to retro gaming. I don't think I can participate in this industry anymore, with a few exceptions of certain games, from new entries to my favorite titles. It's just, I've just seen disappointment by disappointment by disappointment. I'm not going to name every title because there's plenty, but I've been disappointed left and right with a lot of this stuff, and I just feel like I can't be a part of this anymore. It's sad. I've always been a part of the gaming industry since I was a kid, and I don't want to be a game dev. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't even want to play these games anymore. I straight up right now with my fiance are playing retro. I'm back playing the COD campaigns. I'm back playing the old Gears of War games. We're going back and playing my catalog. I've also sold a lot of my game collection, unfortunately, to pay some stuff off. But we're going back and playing retro, basically. Just all these really good games. PS1, PS2, N64, NES, Super Nintendo, GameCube, Xbox 360, stuff like that. And it's over. For me, I think it's over. Unless this industry changes in a few years, I don't see a reason for me to get a PS6 next gen. I don't see a reason to get another Xbox. At the very least, I'll have a PC, because PC's great, and I love seeing the evolution, plus emulation. Obviously, Nintendo went after Yuzu and stuff like that, but the future of emulation, the people that are actually making gaming interesting, are the reasons I'm going to stick around with, like, PC and whatever. And indie devs on, like, a Switch 2, for example. But, yeah, guys, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I have to say. It's over for me, in terms of being a game dev for now, unless things change, my mind changes, but it's just how it feels. All right, guys, enough rambling for me. I think I've done plenty. Oh, wow, I did over a half hour. I've done plenty. I'm going to go pick up my fiance from work, and I'm going to try and cool down, just upload this video. No scheduled release date, just click upload, goes on the internet, people view it, whatever. If not, I got all this frustration off my chest in one go. Cool. I'll see y'all later.